First of all, I have to thank, frankly speaking, with Glory Elijah, because this is something nice that she's doing. Okay, housemates, ex housemates, okay, giving them the platform to come and express themselves and everything. If there's anything they're going to like debunk, they have to come to this particular show, do it. And guys, I love it totally. So I was opportune to join the Twitter space where she had this afternoon session with Bonnie B, and she shared her own experience. Okay, not that she's a saint though, from what I observed, okay, from the every like what I learned from her own story, she did not even exempted herself. She included herself to so certain things that she did that wasn't good, but she also mentioned some certain things. Okay, all these housemates, especially this lady that was taken out. What's her name again? KB, okay, what she did and all that. Like, guys, it was a whole lot for this lady, and she just poured her heart, out for people to understand and also know her personality, okay, learn her personality and all that. So, I'll leave you guys to hear what she said and also learn one or two things before you crucify someone, before you talk down on someone. Please also note that we are not perfect. That is it, okay? So, just drop your honest opinion after watching this. Thank you.
So we were sitting by the table. It's me, it's Nate, it's Mata, it's Nsuku, Abobo, and Sipali. And then I tell them, I'm like, hey, I actually overheard a conversation while I was busy cooking about KB explaining her trauma to the collective. And I'm like, yo, I end up saying, no, now I get to use her trauma against her. So we all laugh. And then I say, okay, guys, they end up saying, hi, Bonnie, you can't say that. I'm like, okay, guys, not in a bad way. But now I know where her vulnerability is. I'll be able to execute whatever I need based on that. So now I constantly kept saying to people, guys, if I really wanted to say that or victimize her or use that against her, based on how I've been throughout the whole house, you would have known by now, would have just said it anyhow. So I do acknowledge that, yes, it was a bad joke. But me going on further to even explain, guys, I understand the one part of her being violated. I can sympathize with that. But I'm not going to sympathize with the other half, with her choosing to sleep with different men for basic needs, because that's a choice. Glory, I have two boys. Today I can say I don't have bread, so I'm gonna go rob a bank. I get caught, and then I expect everybody to sympathize with me. But how if that was a choice that I made on my own? Once I've been saying that all around to Ashley or to Mata or to Nsuku, now the production is picking it up and creating and editing this narrative as if I'm victimizing KB. At some point when she explained her story, I was even half asleep, but I just saw her crying and I was like, let me go and also comfort her, because she was comforting me as much as it was annoying about my sister's situation. Let me go back and give her the same hand. And when I got there, I'm asking her, are you crying because you were violated, or are you crying because you're sleeping with different men? But if it's the different men part, I can understand, because sometimes it's easier to sleep with your age mate, but now if you're going to have to sleep with somebody's father, they will probably make you do things that you don't like, and you feel yourself that you've been robbed of something. So I could understand and some sort of relate from that. But again, Bonnie B is insensitive by asking me these questions. I'm victimizing her. So again, I just want people to understand, guys, these are two different things that we're talking about. And yes, they can be two different traumas. But again, I've been saying throughout, standing on my business, that one side I understand, but the other I'm not, because it's a choice that she made. And I said even on the show, she could have gotten a job. She could have worked at Spur, worked at ShopRite, at Spar, at Woolworths, washed people's clothes. Like, there's other options. And maybe if she wasn't exposed to those other options, we can't, as people, want to sympathize with the choice that she made, that she thought was right for her own life, but something that she has no control over. As people, we can sympathize with her because that's something that was done onto her, you understand? Obviously, we can't say that your story is a lie, because we don't know them from a bar of soap. But I really want to suss out the BS. And So for me, sometimes I could read between the lines. At this point, I'm like, no, I see this person. I see this person for who they really are, you know? Because at some point, I'd even tell these people, guys, I really classify myself as a crocodile. And if you take the characteristics of a crocodile, they're very observant people. They don't waste their energy on attacking everything. But once you feel like, oh, this is a log, you know, it will attack when you least expect it. So I would really observe the characters within the house and be like, okay, I see whose story is truthful. I see whose story isn't truthful in the house, you know. So, yes, I feel like sometimes as people we manipulate and sometimes it is the truth. But obviously, being on the viewer's perspective, you're going to believe everything that is being said on TV because it's television, you understand? You're going to sympathize with people. You're going to be empathetic. But for me, being in the house, I was like, nah, based on what I've already seen within these characters, I know who's lying, I know who's not lying, and some of you guys are using this for game and some of you aren't. And just to pull it towards myself, with what happened to my sister, Glory, it was such a traumatic thing, you know. She passed away due to toxic shock syndrome. She was diagnosed with a bacteria called Streptococcus group A, which it gets into your bloodstream and then it caused gangria through your feet and your hands, and she had to get amputated, you know. But me getting onto the show, I wanted people to know that story because I wanted to educate people. As much as they're saying this is it's a rare life-threatening bacteria, but it's out there and it's so severe. And for women, it hits us the most if you don't change your tampon on time, you know. Even on your tampon box, it will mention that not changing your tampon on time can lead to toxic shock syndrome, of which as women, we're like, oh, what is that? You might think it's like the flu, but it's very much fatal. So me coming into the show and sharing that trauma, it wasn't because I wanted people to like me, but I wanted to educate people and especially women that, hey guys, there is something that is killing us as women and we can actually avoid that. So for her strategy to tell us that, I don't know what was her reasoning and I can't speak upon that, but I would really find it also difficult for me to be sympathetic for this person based on the actions within the house.